Hey everybody, it's Will.
And I'm Mike. Hello.
A very, very special day today for 80s Nerdgasm and for all you cinephiles out there in the world. We are ranking the first 6, like Malibu Bay, Andy Sidarris, BBB/GGG, right, films?
We love some Big O Andy here.
Bombs, Bullets, Babes, Guns, Girls, and G-Strings.
Love Big O Andy here.
These are just like incredible, amazing, ridiculous,
So fun.
like action grindhouse cult classic.
Fun movies. Just really, really fun
They're like
movies.
erotic. They're like Playboy Channel meets like over the top 80s action.
It's like, yeah, it's like Playboy meets trash
But
action.
they're aware of the fact that they are what they are,
yeah.
so they're also really funny. These are the first 6 in the series, and there's 12 in the series. So we thought halfway through, let's rank which ones are our favorites. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I can go first. And a quick caveat is, even though we have to rank them, none of these are bad.
They're
all these are good.
So
it's
I
really hard.
agonized a lot over this list because
I would watch any of these movies again. So with that said, number 6 for me, I think, is Picasso Trigger. Which one is it? Right here. Picasso Trigger.
1988, I think that one came out.
I think 88, 89, one of those years. It's just like we saw all these movies kind of close together, and some of them stick out a little more than others. And Picasso Trigger for me is just a little down the list on that. It's kind of fun. Like there's a like an art dealer.
It's basically like a James Bond movie.
It's like a James Bond movie, and he's assassinated. But is he?
Ooh, it really reminds me of like those Timothy Dalton 80s James Bond movies, and like I think that with that movie they were going for like a bit more of a serious like Scarface type vibe, so it's not quite as ludicrous as some of the other ones.
Agreed. But yeah, number 6 for me.
All right, so what do I have at number 6? I have Savage Beach, which is right here. It was hard for me to put that one at the bottom because a lot of it is about Japan and World War II and stuff like that. And it's got ninjas in it, and I lived in Japan, so obviously that appeals to me right away. But there's just a ton of exposition in that movie. Like, there's about 3 movies worth of stuff that happens in order to set up the movie.
Yeah.
So it's like half the movie is people talking about what the movie is, basically. Whereas the other movies are just like go, go, go insanity from the get-go. There are some really incredible scenes in this movie. There's the scene where the ninja recognizes Donna. no, it's not Taryn. The ninja, it's the samurai dude.
Yeah,
he recognizes Taryn by her eyes. He's like, oh, you are the granddaughter of this guy I knew in World War II. Yes. And then they randomly are changing their clothes in the airplane for no apparent reason.
There's just so much nonsense.
And just,
double crossings and everyone's looking for this treasure on these islands. It's just fun. I'm talking about it so much because Savage Beach is my number 5.
Keep going.
And it's a lot of what Will said. It is a little different, right? Because like there's this old treasure that the Japanese had in World War II, and it's somewhere on this beach.
They think it's lost on this island.
And basically, there's like criminals going for it. There's like ninjas going for it. There's like the U.S. military is going for it.
There's guerrillas from the Philippines.
And then Taryn and Donna end up in the middle of it all. And then there's like, I love the scenes where they're like hiding in grass that's like 1 foot tall, and they're like
no one can see them.
Clearly visible, but no one sees them.
And so there's this whole subplot of these Marxist guerrillas who want to use the gold to fund a revolution in the Philippines.
Yeah, it's just all this. It's just fun. Fun movie.
Yeah, it's
good
really
nudity,
fun.
Obviously. Like
but there's not like this. That one and Picasso Trigger don't have as much nudity as the other ones. Yeah. So at number, is it my turn to do number? No, you.
I did 5.
Oh, because we both had Savage Beach. Yeah. Number 5 for me is Do or Die, and it was actually hard for me to put this one this low. It's this one right here. It has Pat Morita in it, probably more famously known as Mr. Miyagi. Eric Estrada plays the villain. Roberta Vasquez is in it. Donna Spear is in it. Cynthia Brimhall is in it. She has another song. And it's a direct continuation of Guns, so there's like a lot of fun stuff that carries over from one to the other. Cynthia Brimhall is also a singer, so she sings like her country western number there.
It's fun, yeah.
I'm like talking about how fun it is, even though it's really low on my list. But this also has a really famous, well, maybe not famous, but a scene that we posted on Instagram and people went bananas for, which is Eric Estrada with the grenade baseball. Amazing. It's a really fun movie. And the setup of the movie is basically that Pat Morita is this supervillain who hires 6 teams of assassins to kill the lead agents, who are Donna Spear and Roberta Vasquez. But then he gives them a head start. He's like, okay, go, we'll come and get you. Yeah.
It's like a game. And it's actually my number 4 movie,
Whoa!
Do or Die. The scene Will was talking about, like, basically these hitmen are going after the team, and they're like chilling in a safe house in a hot tub, just relaxing. The assassins go after them.
There's 4 women in bikinis in this hot
chilling.
tub. Yeah.
But basically, the assassins miss, and then they run away on like dirt bikes. And Eric Estrada and the other guy go to chase him, and Donna Spears like trying to get on the bike, and he just like picks her up and takes her off. She's like, "I have like 40 confirmed kills. I have 4 accommodations by the president," and he's like, "I know." And then he just drives off, and she's like mad, standing in her bikini. And then he chases him.
It's so ridiculous.
And then for some reason, he has these baseballs that he's been just playing with, tossing around.
Which look like just normal baseballs. There's no setup to this at all.
And so one of the bad guys is hiding behind a tree with a shotgun, and they're trading shots. And he runs out, and then Eric Estrada throws a baseball, and the guy laughs. He throws another baseball, and the guy laughs. And then he gets a final one out, and he like pushes a button on it. It opens. He pushes a button on it. He throws it. For some reason, the guy takes a shotgun and hits like a baseball, and it explodes, and he blows up everywhere. And they're not appalled by like this crazy death. They're just like
they
laughing.
high five, yeah.
And then there's a scene where
it's really
Donna
good.
and Taryn and Eric Estrada, they chase these ninjas to a little shack, and then the little plane goes and shoots them and blows it up. It's fun.
Yeah, it was hard for me to put that one. And that one is also the one where there's like the night where there's like 3 sex scenes all happening simultaneously, and they're all like increasingly more ludicrous than the last one. There's like
that one
people
with the
splashing water and like she's new to the series. Yeah. So are we at number 4 now?
That was my number 4.
Yeah. So my number 4 is Picasso Trigger, which Mike already talked about, which we have right here. I really like those 2 Timothy Dalton James Bond movies, especially The Living Daylights. So like the vibe of this, and it had kind of like a Scarface vibe going on. I thought it was really fun. It was a little bit different. It's a little bit harder edged action movie. It's basically like if you take what Andy Sidarris does normally, and then you like had him make a James Bond movie. That's more or less what it is. Yeah. It's just really fun.
All right, number 3 for me is Guns. Where is it? Guns right here. We watched this not that long ago, and I recently was looking through it to look for clips for Instagram for people who aren't familiar with the film and want to check it out. Mm-hmm. And man, there's just so many good clips from our stars are back. Donna Spear, Roberta Vasquez, Cynthia Brimhall. I can't remember any of the guys' names.
Eric Estrada plays the villain,
and Danny Trejo's in it.
Danny Trejo's in this movie too.
For some reason.
There's a pair of really incompetent assassins.
The assassins, oh my goodness, they're so funny because their specialty is like explosives or so they say, and the Eric Estrada's like, just use a gun.
Yeah, like
and put a card on that.
Why would you hire explosives experts to assassinate people with guns?
And for some reason, they keep getting dressed as women. And the first time, you can understand because
the setup is that they're trying to disguise themselves.
They're trying to disguise. They put on women's attire.
They're not.
They're not women at all. They're huge
not
guys.
women-looking dudes.
But they go and kill this person. Okay, whatever. They tried something. Whatever.
Everyone in this restaurant, the guy has a 5 o'clock shadow.
They're like, those women shot them.
Assassinates a woman in broad daylight. Like those 2 women.
But okay, whatever. You can be like, whatever. It's a bad decision, but whatever. The next time you see them, they're just hanging out in the bar. They're still dressed as women. And everyone already knows who they are. And then the next time you see them, they're kidnapping someone still dressed as women.
And then there's a shootout in the women's room.
And they're still dressed as women.
Yeah.
It's just bonkers. And then there's the final shootout with Donna and Eric Estrada is amazing and ridiculous.
And the guy who has terrible aim and just has a gun battle with Danny Trejo.
And the scene with the boat, where the boat and the beer.
Yes! And so there's Devin DeVasquez is in this movie. Yeah. And she plays... like the evil woman. She works for Eric Estrada. She's like his girlfriend, I think. And there's a scene where the Cynthia Brimhall character goes to assassinate... And I'm sorry, but we're doing a lot of spoilers here, but I have to talk about this. She goes to assassinate the Devin DeVasquez character, and she's in a bathtub surrounded by mirrors.
There's like 3 mirrors.
So she's shooting the mirrors, and she can't figure out where the real one is. And then you cut to the real one, and she's standing in the middle of the room.
And there's like 3 mirrors. It's like, have you never been in a bathroom with a mirror?
It's not like one of these scenes like there's actual scenes in like halls of mirrors where you can't see like in that James Bond movie.
So that was my number 3. I don't want to spoil too much more.
Oh man, okay. So my number 3 is Hard Ticket to Hawaii, which we have right here. That was the first one that we watched, and
was it?
Yeah, holy hell, that movie is preposterous. Yeah, because I think when we first got these, we weren't sure which order they were in, so we just kind of watched that one. So Donna and Taryn are government agents who wear like the porn version of a Jurassic Park uniform, and
awesome.
they have an airplane with and a lot of these take place in and around Hawaii.
Yeah.
And so they have like a cargo plane in Hawaii, and they somehow accidentally take a crate with a deformed like a deformed mutant snake, which gets loose in Hawaii, which is completely unrelated to the fact that there is a drug dealer that they are also battling. It's just, this is the most ludicrous, like there's a scene where a guy tries to assassinate 2 of the male agents while riding on a skateboard holding a blow-up doll, and they shoot him with a...
He's on his hands on the skateboard, too. He's not even riding it normal. They're like, what the fuck's going on? And then he gets in the car.
And then they shoot him with the rocket. The blow-up doll goes flying up in the air, and then they shoot the blow-up doll the rocket.
And the guy's like, well, rockets really? And the other guy, that's the only way I could hit something. And it's like a recurring theme because you see that guy again. And he's like the worst shot ever. I don't know how he became an agent.
Oh,
but,
my God.
I can talk about this because actually my number 2 film is Hard to Get
Let's keep talking about it.
Man, the whole snake at the end.
The snake comes out of a toilet, and
they shoot it with the rocket launcher, too.
He shoots it with the rocket launcher.
I don't know if Andy knows, like...
But that's unrelated to...
It's unrelated to the whole plot, but I don't know if he gets, like, there's, like, this thing got, like, shockwaves and, like...
Doesn't matter.
You can't just shoot a rocket launcher in a room.
There's a scene where the guy picks up the rocket launcher. Remember they're shooting at like a helicopter or something at some point? And you can see it bending. Like it's rubber tubes. Like it's so obviously just like something they built.
Who cares? There's a lot of nudity
incredible.
in this one. This is the first time we meet Donna and Taryn, who are the main agents for the next few movies.
Yeah, and then eventually Taryn leads, and Roberta Vasquez like overlaps with her at some point, and then takes over for her.
Roberta Vasquez plays a villain in one, and
right. That's in Picasso
Trigger,
right, where she plays a villain.
So, but it's really, really fun movie. Those scenes are amazing. You just have to watch it for that.
There was something. Oh, the frisbee scene.
Oh, the frisbee
which is one of the best of any.
You've probably seen the
scenes.
frisbee scene.
We put it on Instagram,
randomly.
and it's on YouTube, and like
it's like what? So what is it? He's like.
So basically, they have to assassinate this bad guy, and this bad guy's deal is that every day he plays frisbee on the beach with this local woman, right? And so one day the agent goes and he's like, "Hey, can I play frisbee with you guys?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." And then he tells the woman like, "Hey, beat it, honey," or whatever. And they're throwing the frisbee, and the agent guy catches it, and then he like sneaks into his little satchel that he has and pulls out a frisbee that's ringed with razor blades, throws it. It goes through the guy's hand and into his neck, and there's just like blood spraying everywhere.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
So it's your number 2.
So my number 2 is Malibu Express, which is the first film in the series. It was hard for me to pick between Hard Ticket to Hawaii and Malibu Express because they're both. But the ridiculousness of Malibu Express is
very ridiculous.
It's so incredible. So there's this guy who is a private detective, right? And he's from Texas, and he's living in Malibu, I think, on his boat, even though it's obviously filmed in Marina Del Rey. And his boat is called the Malibu Express, right? And he is friends with like a woman who's a race car driver, and he hangs out with her in the locker room a lot when she's topless.
The next door neighbors on the next boat, for some reason their water goes out, so they have to shower naked.
They keep showing up in his apartment
and
trying to have threesomes with him. And there's actually, one of them actually says to him, "We heard you're a private investigator. Can you investigate our privates?" Like, this movie is amazing. There's like these hillbillies who are constantly wanting to race him in their car.
Because his dad raced their dad or something, always beat him, so they always want to race him. And it's just
and this is, by the way, all of this is unrelated to the plot of the movie. The plot of the movie is almost like Clue, right? Like you described it as a perverted Clue at some point. He gets hired to go to this house because somebody's being blackmailed or something, and then you find out that like the housekeeper or some like one of the guys who works in the house was in prison and is now being blackmailed by the mob because he owes them a bunch of money. So he's taking sex tapes of the women. He's like nailing all the women in the house and making sex tapes and blackmailing them. And then there's like a whole subplot with a guy who's like an evil Bill Gates. You remember that whole thing? The computer company?
One of the women is, and then you find out like there's all these twists about one of the killers is one of the women and like all this other stuff. It's just fun.
And there's some ridiculous dialogue in this movie that shall not be repeated in this video. So was that your number 1?
That was my that was your number 2.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
My number 1 is Malibu Express.
Yeah, okay. So should we keep talking about it?
Yeah, let's keep talking about it. I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm like, let's save some mystery for what my number 1 is. It's Malibu Express. It's amazing. It feels very different than the rest of these because the rest of these feel like a series in that they feature a lot of the same characters, and they're all like, there's always agents,
and there's like
there's
Hawaii
like a team
and
stuff.
like
This feels different because it doesn't really have any of the people that appear in the rest of these,
But there is isn't there like a tenuous connection? Like the agent in
yeah,
this is
it's
his
like
brother.
it's like a
or
tenuous
something
connection,
like
but
that,
basically, like we said, he gets a call to go to this house and investigate. I can't remember. It's a blackmail murder, something like. He's investigating stuff, and just all this ridiculous stuff. He hooks up with so many women. They all want to have sex with him.
But there's a scene where he's like making out with one of them, and where's the button? Is it on the bed or?
Well,
like...
that's the butler. I'm talking about the main character. Everyone wants to have sex with him too. The neighbors, like there's all the women there. The cop, his cop friend. The cop friend.
Oh, I forgot about her.
She wants to do him, and then he goes to the gym. There's a scene where they go to the gym to work out.
The scene in the gym is
he's
so
like,
good.
every Wednesday or Tuesday or whatever, I go
It's
with
a
my
voiceover.
friend.
Like,
I go with my
so
friend Beverly to the gym to work out, and they show the cop, and she's working out, and he's just sitting on a bike watching
And
everybody
drinking Pepsi,
watching the women working out. And it's just like not even trying. The scenes with the hillbillies racing him is amazing.
So good.
He's a bad shot too because like the scene where him in the shower, he can't hit the guy from like 3 feet away, and then he goes outside, and the cop's about to shoot the guy, and he like pushes her aside. He's like, "Let me, Beverly," and he shoots, and he misses him 3 times, and then the guy's about to kill him, and his female friend shoots him, and she's like,
"Come on, guy!"
She's like, "You suck." Like I forget what she said exactly, but the gist of it is you suck at shooting guns.
That movie is incredible.
Yes.
I want to watch it again right now.
I do too.
I couldn't hurry
up and finish so we can go watch it.
We watched Hard Ticket to Hawaii, just the two of us, and then we invited some friends over to watch Malibu Express, and they were like flabbergasted by how amazing it is.
And one thing before we move on, I recently was looking through this film because I was looking for clips for Instagram for people to see it and check it out. There is a lot of nudity in this movie.
So much nudity you can't get like a 60-second.
I was struggling to find stuff we could put up because there's nudity everywhere, and I was like, I didn't remember it being so.
Like,
there's a lot of nudity.
With the hotline where they call like a hotline, and the woman who answers the phone is just topless.
There's less sex, but there's more nudity than I think the rest of them.
But that was, so one of the things about these movies is that they. Basically, Andy Sidarris hired women from Playboy, and then they would get free promotional play on the Playboy channel.
Well, plus I'm sure they got paid something.
Yeah,
and it's like it is a good opportunity for someone who's like, say, a Playboy playmate, and she wants to try acting.
No, I think
is like a nice bridge because
but it's like a genius for going both ways. Yeah. It's a genius idea because it allows them to move into acting, but also maintain whatever their brand is. But it allows him to get built-in recognition and advertising and stuff like that. So, is it time for my number one?
Time for your number one.
My number one is also my new favorite movie ever. We watched it very recently. It's Guns. This movie is so ridiculous and incredible. We already talked basically about why it's so ridiculous and incredible. But I was amazed constantly throughout watching this movie how ridiculous it is.
That is one of the good things about the Andy movies is like you kind of know what's happening in terms of like the plots. Like this person will die and the good guys will win, right? Yeah. Whatever. But like the stuff that happens in between, it's like why you can't predict it.
No, it's like it's so ridiculous. And we've done a review of this movie. We already talked about it in this video. We don't need to talk about it too much, but it's just so amazing.
It's
you
really
just
good.
Went through it again. Give us some of the other good scenes. There's the scene where the guy is having a shootout with Danny Trejo and he keeps missing.
He keeps missing the guy who
and
can't
they're like
shoot.
10 feet from each other, and he's like
shoots
a
him like 3 times,
agent.
misses. But then they're in like a theater, and a sandbag from above falls, and it misses Danny Trejo, and Danny Trejo's like, haha, no. And then the whole scaffolding falls and kills him, and then the guy's like, yeah, and he like does a pose, and is like wind blowing, and he's like, yeah.
This is also the one with the ninjas.
The ninjas in the gym.
Yep.
Like this bodybuilder guy who's a good guy, he goes in, they lock him in this closet, and the guy who can't shoot actually gets beat up by the ninjas, and then the bodybuilder comes out and just goes ham on him.
But we also have to say that this is not a movie that has ninjas in it.
No.
Like, there's no other ninjas in this movie. They just show up in this one scene.
And then the ninja pulls out a sword, and the bodybuilder's like, and then Donna's like,
Donna shows up with her gun.
Away.
And doesn't she say, like, hiya when she shoots the gun or something like that?
No, she says she has a liner. She's like, I forget what it is.
It's so good.
But also that scene has another scene with Cynthia Brimhall, who's my favorite of the women, I think.
When she does her singing?
Yeah, she's just singing. She's like in a skimpy outfit, and she's just bouncing around singing.
But this also has the KY jelly wrestling or whatever.
The KY jelly wrestling. There's also the scene where the second performance, she's singing, and then like Danny Trejo and Eric Estrada and Devin DeVasquez are there, and all the agents on there, and like all the main characters are in this room. And it's like a 20-minute scene, and they're all talking about. I'm like, just arrest him! He's right there. Just do stuff, and it's just going back and forth. And then Cynthia Brimhall and Devin DeVasquez have an exchange, and she says something. She's like, I found a new interest, and she's like, well, it's better than I keep your legs up in there all day. Like they're real catty to each other. It's just really good.
The one other thing. Oh man, I'm gonna forget what it was.
Unbelievable.
No, because I was just looking at the clips. This is the one with the beer can and the little boat.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah, we talked.
Yeah,
about
we
that.
talked about. So basically, if we forgot to mention the details of it, there's a guy who's like this kind of. He's a magician, right? And he's like this big old kind of fat lazy guy, and he sits out on his little boat fishing, and his wife sends him beers on a remote control boat off of a yacht. He's like, I need another beer. She like sends one out, and then the Devin DeVasquez character comes to assassinate him and puts a grenade on the beer.
Yeah, picks it up. He's like, uh-oh. And they always do a close-up of the face. He's like, oh. It's like, just throw it away, dude. You're in a river. If you throw that grenade in the water, you probably won't die.
Oh, man. It's so good.
It's too good. We can't go on anymore.
So there you go. So that's our ranking of the first 6 Andy Sidarris, Malibu Bay films, BBB/GGG movies. There are, so these were all released by Mill Creek, and I think they're doing all of them because there's 2.
I hope so.
The next 2 in the series are coming in, I think, March 2020. So we will do like reviews of those as we normally do. And then when we get to the end of the series, we can rank the second half of the series.
Yep. And then
we can rank the whole series.
And I think the next 2 are directed by Andy. The following 2 are produced and I think written by Andy, but directed by his son.
His son did a couple of them, right?
And
yeah.
I'm guessing either he had health problems. I know at this age he was getting older and had some health problems. And then the final 2 were directed by Andy Sidarris again. And I think some of the cast changes a bit in the later half because I mean the first film
it's like 87
is 80. I thought it was 83.
It'll say on there.
It's
I thought this was 87, 85.
85 and you know, Do or Die we're getting into the
like
early
91?
90s and I think some of the later
Yeah,
films
so
we're
there's
getting
6
into the mid to
more,
later.
yeah.
So we're talking about 15 years, which is a long time, especially if you're someone who's about 30 when you start, like to 45 in this kind of movie. So, but I'm sure they'll be funny because Big O Andy never disappoints.
Big ol' Andy. He does not. My name is Will.
And I'm Mike.
Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.